Here we are once again having the technical issues right up to showtime has become kind of a tradition for the show here lately. Welcome everyone to the High Noon Hemp Show. Of course, if you're watching live, it means it's Wednesday at high noon Eastern time. You can see us live and video on demand in various places like Facebook, the Temptations Beach Facebook page, also the Temptations Jedi Hemp channel on YouTube, and at Temptations on Twitter. Of course, the podcast, Podbean, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Just search the High Noon Hemp Show. I'm Sarah Jesus. He is Beach, high above the Temptations in Sharonville, Ohio, at the Hemp Quarters. Beach, hey, that's me. Beach, how are things this week?
I have to figure out
In the world of Temptations? More tech
volume. Okay. Whew.
stuff. There we
Turn
go.
the volume down on the computer since I'm on the iPad. Welcome everyone to the High Noon Hemp Show. So good to be back. If you missed us last week, I was on vacation. I thought about doing the show from the beach, but it was so windy, no one would have been able to hear me. It's hard to really say how that would have turned out. But we're back. Here we are, back on the High Noon Hemp Show. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. And remember, the FDA has not evaluated this show for efficacy, safety, or efficacy. More on the FDA later in the show for sure. So let's jump right into the product spotlight. Get on with it because we got a lot of cool products in the news for sure. The first one are the Wilfreds. We got the Wilfred CBD smokes back in. We love the Wilfred products. They use very clean ingredients from the papers to the filters. Everything about them is good. There's no doubt. So if you're looking for some CBD smokes, looking to quit maybe smoking real cigarettes, or just want to get your CBD this way, because this is one of the quickest ways to get it. Once it goes into the lungs, it's almost instantaneously into the bloodstream and working its way through the system to give you what you need. I've got kind of a weird angle here because I'm using my iPad, but I'm sure it's okay. I feel weird about it. I don't think I made it any better. It's true. But stop moving. Ay. All right, I'm going to leave it alone for a minute. The next product on the product spotlight, how about some Temptations D9 tincture? We've been talking about this. We've been carrying the D9 gummies for a little while, but we finally got the D9 tincture. So you can add your D9 to whatever you want to. Put it on a treat. I'm acting like it's a dog thing. More about that in a minute. But you can, any way you want. But right under the tongue, once again, right into the system, one way or another. So it's the quickest way. One of the quickest ways to get anything into your system is sublingually, which is dropping it under the tongue and letting it sit there for as long as you can so it works its way into the bloodstream right there. How about a little summer fun? Speaking of the beach, we could not have thrown one of these at the beach when we were there. Once again, we had 25-mile-an-hour winds the entire week we were there. But, beaches at the beach is always fun. Either way. So these are the Freedom Flyers. And so it's these are what I call kid-friendly frisbees, because if you hit someone with one, it doesn't hurt. They're soft. And so it's much easier to catch, much easier. I don't know if it's easier to throw. I have to say it's easier to catch, and it's easier to get hit by one. But I don't know if they're easier to throw. Because they are soft. You got to really give it some oomph for one, so it spreads out. But we love the Freedom Flyers, the soft frisbees. These are, again, great summer fun for everyone. Speaking of pet tinctures, we got in the new batch of Medterra pet tinctures. This is the 750 milligrams. So if you have a small pet, this would probably last you forever, one way or another. But and again, we do treats, but we always tell people, you can take Temptations brand CBD, put it on the treat. You can obviously take either one of these and put it on, whatever kind of treats you may or may not give your pets already, so that they will ingest it. But we put it right into the mouth of our Doberman when she's having issues. She's looking at me right now like she's going to have an issue. Get some Medterra pet tincture if you have a pet that, and this is from anything from anxiety, just like humans, or inflammation relief, using the CBD is for its anti-inflammation properties. We have a lot of people with elder pets that use CBD, from talking to customers. There's no doubt about that. And so, works for us and it works for them. We are finding more and more every day. All right, well, there's 4 from the door. Now, how about one from my door, which is Schmidt's deodorant. Now, I think I've showed my Schmidt's deodorant before, and I was talking about deodorant recently. And again, this is kind of more even a summertime thing, I think, with deodorant, because I hardly ever use any type of deodorant or antiperspirant or anything like that during the winters, because I just don't sweat as much. But in the summer, I do a fair amount of sweating, and therefore a fair amount of needing to not smell completely terrible, one way or another. And so, I use, and I found this Schmidt's on, I think I found this on Amazon, actually. I have not found it at my local grocery store yet. And next time I need deodorant, I will look to see if there's any hemp. I do know there is hemp because Old Spice makes a hemp deodorant, which I believe I showed on the show. Mm-hmm. Who knows how long ago, but I did find it on the shelves at my grocery store. So obviously I like these guys. This is, more hemp seed based as opposed to just having hemp seed in it too, I think. So if you're looking for some deodorant, check out Schmidt's. I'm sure you can go to their website online as well and purchase directly from them, or check your local internet shopping network. I just, I do what everybody else does, to be honest with you. I just put it into Google, and yes, I use Google. I'm not generically talking about some other search engine. I use the Google search engine. Put it into your search engine, see what happens. I think Google's one of the better ones, but I'm sure that whichever one you use will hopefully pop up the product so you can get some. There you have it. 4 from the store, 1 from my door on the product spotlight here on the High Noon Hemp Show. I might be at a slight angle. I feel like my iPad is at a slight angle. I'm sitting straight, but my camera might be slightly angled.
Also, for those of you watching and listening, we are getting it creeps up after about 5 or 6 minutes, the little crackling that comes with Beach's voice. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why it's not there the first 5 or 6 minutes. I don't know why it then starts to creep in more. It only happens when Beach speaks. There's a little crackling in the background. But then as time goes on, it kind of lessens as well. So I don't know. I'm flabbergasted by that particular little idiosyncrasy of our technical issues. I don't know why that is. It's very weird.
I feel like it's got to be something with my iPad microphone, and I'm not touching it or moving it, but
I just don't know. It's very weird.
Just to let everybody know, this microphone here right now is currently just for show. It's just to let you know that I'm doing an audio/visual show.
That's right.
And maybe I should try plugging it in and seeing what happens, but I don't know. It almost scares me. Maybe next week before the show, I'll plug this microphone in and see if we get anything out of it.
Yeah, I definitely think it's time for a different audio setup
option. I think it's obviously with my I got to figure out what's going on with my computer, because I don't understand why all of a sudden the microphone does not work when I plug in my headphones on my laptop, and I've changed nothing there either. So if anybody out there is a computer geek and might have a reason why my whatever brand computer I have, Lenovo, I don't even even know how to pronounce it.
That's the same one I have. It's the one I'm doing.
Yeah. Why my microphone? And I went to the microphone thing and I reset everything, and it's just not working. I've tried everything that I know of to click on. So I don't know. I'll put a little more effort to it maybe and see what I come up with. But it's weird. It's weird.
Josie's mad about it too.
Josie is really upset about it.
Technical issues.
You can still hear her though.
Yeah, that's right. I think when she barked, there was a little bit of crackling too. So that's interesting. It's all audio, I guess.
It's just a certain pitch. Maybe the bark tone causes cracking, and my voice has that. Oh no.
Oh my. All of that brings us, without further ado, to the yet to be award-winning, but one day award-winning greatest internet segment in history. No, it's not some cat playing a piano on YouTube. It is the Beachwear segment. Because Beach, if you don't know, and we kind of mention it every now and then, Beach has a lot of hemp clothing. If you didn't realize by watching the show, he has a lot of hemp clothing. We like to showcase it every week. I asked Beach one simple question, and bam, the greatest segment in history was born when I asked, "What are you wearing, Beach?"
That's right. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you'll know. It's quite the summer outfit for show.
That's right.
Little brown and green, I suppose. On top there, you've got the Satori Grassroots hat. This is a hemp company, Hemptations University tee, printed right here at Planet Everywhere Manufacturing. The Ohio Hempery, those are my cutoffs. So those were actually a pair of pants. They fit me in the waist, but they weren't long enough, so I made them into a pair of shorts. And I love them as shorts. They work perfect, no doubt about it. And of course, if you don't know anything about the Ohio Hempery, they operated here in Ohio for about, I don't know how long, actually manufacturing again. They brought in raw material, and manufactured clothing, bags, accessories, all kinds of really cool stuff. So I'd love to show off my Ohio Hempery stuff whenever I can, as much as I can. And of course, in the pocket there, you can see my Green Springs Technology pen going with me everywhere. Wearing some Hempest briefs underneath it all. I forgot to show a picture of my no-shows with my briefs. I forget when I do my no-shows, you can't see them under my shoes. So I usually have a picture of those, and I forgot this week, and I have to get back into the no-show sock season when it comes to what are you wearing, Beach? So you can get a pair of those. But I do have on a pair of Oasis no-shows. And then the Nikes, I don't believe, it's very likely that I have never worn these Nikes on the show, because this is a pair of Nikes that I don't wear out a lot. They have a very high value, and they're in very good condition because I don't wear them a lot. But because I don't have to go far for the show these days, it's a nice day, I thought I'd show these off for you. This is part of the 6.0 skateboard series. Obviously, they're the same style as my ramen Nikes that I've shown recently, which I actually call my Bangle. I believe they're my Bangle Nikes, personally. But they were called the Ramens originally because a kid won a contest, and that's the colors, orange and black and brown, from the ramen noodles package. I don't know about these. I might have to do a little bit of investigating, because I just kind of once again found these kind of tucked hidden in a safe place. So I thought breaking them out would be good. And so I'm going to have to do a little investigating on these particular Nikes. So there you have it. If you're wondering, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you know. Now, before we get to the news with a lot of products and cool stuff, here is a little video that I made. I don't want to call it a commercial. These are actually movie trailers that iMovie has an option. You can make movie trailers, and so that's what I did. And I have a bunch of these, and so I'm going to show these off. Whether the products are relevant, whether we have them or don't have them anymore, is probably the only factor because things change in the hemp product world so much, and I probably made most of these at least 5 years ago, actually, and I'm gonna have to go back and make some new ones. I need to make one with all the Hemptations products because we have enough Hemptations products now that I can actually put. So that's my goal. But here it is. Um, Here's a little Planet Everywhere Productions movie trailer. I forget the name of this particular movie. We'll find out together.
Wow.
I loved making those. That was the very first one I did. I'm almost positive. I can't believe that I just randomly picked one of those. And it was, I believe, the first one that I ever made. So that's pretty cool. Which would have had to have been, again, hemp was legal. I was in the hemp field, so it would have been 2014, maybe 2015. 2015 is probably when I made that particular one. But super fun. And now I look forward to actually making some more of those. Seeing if they've released any new, because they're all different movie themes. So you'll soon enough we'll see all the different movie themes. That was the fairy tale, and hemp is no longer a fairy tale if you were paying attention. So, all right, well, let's get right into the news because there's all kinds of good stuff going on. Mostly products actually that I found more than anything, but. The big news, I suppose, speaking of the FDA earlier, is that they released a video. The FDA released a video. It was like a little virtual panel recently because they are having so much. They're getting so much pressure to do something about CBD, and so the video is called "A New Way Forward for Cannabidiol and Other Hemp Products." Excuse me.
Oh.
Man. Am I allergic to the FDA? No. No, but they're really saying that it's up to Congress, but they are willing to work with everyone on the subjects of CBD edibles, pet products, and Delta 8. So it's kind of interesting that I think that whatever happens with the FDA. Now, I think the real issue there, is they could leave the Delta 8 out for now, because I think that's going to convolute the whole CBD issue at this point, because they are two different things. I don't think CBD should be treated the same as Delta 8 because, Delta 8 has side effects. So you feel something when it comes to using Delta 8. CBD does not have any side effects. You don't feel anything. Now, the FDA was saying that their concerns are over CBD and the liver, also male reproduction, which is kind of interesting, or the male reproduction system, and potential drug interaction. Now, they talk about the liver because there was something with Epidiolex, which is the one FDA-approved drug for children for seizures. Okay, because something in those trials may have shown something, but wasn't bad enough that the FDA said we're not going to approve this, but maybe gave them concern as to maybe how much CBD use is safe for the liver, which is, I can't imagine honestly, and scientific studies would be great to prove or disprove whether there are negative side effects to the liver when it comes to CBD use or even Delta 9 use or any of them. We need to know these things. Delta 9 we won't know because the federal government has cannabis still as a illegal substance, so they can't really do legitimate medical studies because of that, I think, somehow. But we need more of those. The male reproductive system, that's a new one I have not heard or talked about when it comes to CBD. They always used to say that smoking pot made you sterile, but whether there's actually any scientific proof to that, I honestly have no idea. I've never seen any actual medical studies that once again prove that smoking pot makes you sterile. And so I don't know if those concerns are just concerns about general cannabis concerns that the FDA now is like, oh, wait a minute, that's something they used to say. They also used to say it killed brain cells. Mm-hmm. That study was done on monkeys, giving them only cannabis smoke for 5 to 6 minutes at a time, no oxygen to the brain. No medical doctor here means you have brain damage. I think the brain can go a minute or two without oxygen, unless you're trained like a diver or something, that can stay underwater for 6 minutes. You are denying your brain for oxygen for that amount of time. But the normal brain can only do without oxygen for maybe a couple minutes without it starting to do damage. And that's how they proved cannabis did brain damage anyway. And of course, the potential for drug interaction is true. I mean, we know that. When we see a study that says CBD can help regulate and keep blood pressure low, well, right out of the gate, you got to know, well, if you're on blood pressure medicine and you take CBD, that might not be the best thing, because then all of a sudden your blood pressure may drop too low. And so I once again, wholeheartedly agree that we need more information on drug interaction. Wholeheartedly. It's true. And so, here's the thing. Why don't they have drug interaction information if they've already approved a drug? So shouldn't even kids know that Epidiolex may affect their blood pressure? And again, so this makes me question once again truly what getting approved by the FDA really means, because in my opinion, they should know these things because they've approved a CBD drug. So does that mean that CBD drug testing didn't go far enough? It sounds like it to me, and this is a kid's drug. And so I don't understand how, my understanding before was it takes at least 5 to 7 years to actually have a drug approved by the FDA. So I would think over 5 to 6, 7 years of studying and doing trials that they would have more information that the FDA would then have and then know. Is it really unsafe for the liver, or was it just some results that maybe looks like it might be unsafe for the liver? Does it really make or have effects on the male reproduction system, or is this just something that they don't really know about? So I'm glad that the FDA is going to do something. It's funny that they're kind of kowtowing to Congress, which is okay too, because Congress is kind of forcing them. But I, as much as anyone in the legitimate world, want to see as many medical studies as there is on CBD, because millions of people use CBD every day, and including thousands of our customers right here in Cincinnati. And, if it's really not safe, we'd know by now, because we're going on 10 years of and again, even if we're only going on maybe what I would say 7 or 8 years of real intense CBD use in this country, I do think that we would truly know more if there was real negative effects on humans. Not saying that there isn't, but anyway. So we'll see. We'll see what the FDA comes up with, and again, if that means getting some more studies done, I'm all about it, one way or another. Because I do think in the long run, everything is fine with CBD. Now if they want to go to Delta 8 and whatever and things like that, then that's the more we know, the more we know. Or actually, the more we know, the less we don't know. That's a quote from Monk. Monk didn't say it though. The comedian. I can't think of his name now. That'll come to me. Anyway. All right. I was just talking about natural burials, and being cremated, or actually, being in that, you can now be buried in an all natural box with no treatments, which you couldn't do always. Now, a Dutch company, I think I sent a picture of this over. Here it is. They are making what's called the forest bed, and it's a biodegradable coffin made, and urns. They have urns too, so you can bury your ashes if you want to. But they're made out of mycelium, which is mushroom root, and upcycled hemp fiber. And I'm not sure what the upcycled means, but it's pretty cool. We have seen mycelium products are really, man, mushrooms are slowly, creeping up on hemp as diversity, because, we're finding all the utilities that we can get from, eating mushrooms or using mushrooms. But now all the products that we can use or make out of. And a lot of those are plastic substitutes. They're composites now. What's kind of interesting is these biodegrade within like 45 days or something. And so, you're going into the ground quickly, which is the way it should be. To be sealed in an airtight box and then sealed into concrete in the ground was never nature's intention for human disposal of bodies ever. I always said, just prop me up by a tree. 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, that's what would have happened, whatever. So this is kind of neat. And again, it's a Dutch company, so we'll see if they, someone here in the United States doesn't do it, or if you can't get them, maybe shipped to the United States if that's how you want to be buried, one way or another. And I think the urn idea is, really cool too. Mm-hmm. I would assume that if you didn't go underground, that it would stay forever. And again, what I think is interesting is that we just did a thing on like water bobbers, that floats that a company was making out of hemp and mycelium. And, the fact that they don't break down is kind of wild. This breaks down, those don't. In a quick amount of time. That's, science is doing some crazy things with nature right now. It's pretty cool. Let's go over to New Zealand. This is, I think, a pair of shoes I showed. A company called Buddy Hemp Goods. And these are the shoes, but they're doing shirts and pants. It's mostly women wear, I believe. But they're releasing, again, a whole line of hemp clothing. It looked like it's basic T-shirts, more or less. I have to say that the shoes were probably kind of the craziest looking. Not that those are really crazy looking, but out of all of them. But and so it's make sure that that's that's the New Zealand's Buddy Hemp Goods collection. I don't know if if they'll ship to the United States or not, but I will have to say that once again, New Zealand is another country that's like they're making all kinds of cool hemp stuff these days, from food to clothing to. I haven't seen a whole lot of construction coming out of New Zealand, but a little bit of tiny homes and whatnot. So I look forward to seeing more of that. How about these ash slip-ons Okay. Now, they call them a sneaker. I don't know if you call a slip-on a sneaker or not. Now, you're thinking that brownish part is the hemp, right? Nope. You think, well, maybe it's in the sole. Nope. They're actually using hemp fake leather. So that black part, which is leather, or no leather, or no cow leather, I should say. Um, but it's actually hemp and some other things, natural. No cows died for that leather. Made by a company called Moral Code, which I think is a great name, I suppose, for a company. But the slip-ons are made by Ash, and so I'm gonna have to check those out. See if I can, maybe find them online. I feel like the older I get, this is why slip-ons are so popular these days. The older I get, the less I want to deal with dyeing my shoes.
Yeah.
I don't think that we're gonna see the return of Velcro for the solution to that. I think what we are seeing is more and more slip-on shoes. Like, I even saw a commercial for a slip-on shoe that's a full shoe, and again, it's like any other slip-on shoe, but they actually had laces on the front, so it looked like they laced up, but you actually just pulled the backs and they slipped on, which I think is funny. And maybe you can tighten or loosen with the laces and then just slip it on, but I really thought the laces were just kind of silly after the fact that this is supposed to be a slip-on. But maybe that just means you can adjust it a little bit. I hadn't thought of it that way, but this is the Ash slip-on with faux hemp leather trimmings. And those fake leather trimmings were made by a company called Moral Code. So if you're looking for some hemp leather alternatives, check out Moral Code. Here is a cool little structure, I should say. This is called the Recipe House. And it is a converted pigsty. It's if you're going to convert something, I suppose a pigsty is something to live in, but this is actually a living space with an office. And when they redid the entire bottom of the structure with hempcrete, basically, and I think they like almost rubbed it on. It looks like, but yeah, they did the entire bottom of the structure, redid it with hempcrete. This is it's over in France, and of course the French have been working with hempcrete, as we know, for at least 600 years. Because we found a bridge. That part of the bridge, the buttresses of the bridge were made out of basically a hempcrete, which is hemp and lime, from my understanding, for the most part. So basically how that works. And so that's a neat little structure. It's kind of cool looking. And if you look on the left there, you can see it's got like a bridge from the top part, because it's like right beside a hill. Good stuff, France. Doesn't surprise me that this is going on in France, because again, they've been using hempcrete for a long time. Do you need it's a wrong time for a sweater here a sweatshirt, I should say, here in the Cincinnati area, but maybe it's still chilly where you are. But this is Outerknown releasing their Sur Pocket, S-U-R Pocket sweatshirt. And it's organic cotton and hemp blend French terry. So should be very soft, honestly. And I like the looks of them. I like the sleeves, the cuffs, that bottom part. I don't know what you put in your sweatshirt pocket, but if you needed one, I could put my Green Springs Technology pen in there, maybe, if I needed to. So again, this company is Outerknown, and this is called the Sur Pocket sweatshirt. S-U-R Pocket sweatshirt. Maybe you need a pair of shorts for that sweatshirt. cool evening. I definitely could have worn that sweatshirt on the beach with my shorts
Yeah.
because it was a little on the chilly side even. But these are made by one of my favorite company names, which is Taylor Stitch, and this is called the Apres short, and these are 100% hemp, which I love. I love. We definitely, normally see a blend. I do believe that the Ohio hempery pants that I have on are 100% hemp. So about the only thing we see in the past, jeans and some shirts, but most of the time it's like a 55-45 blend. But these are 100% hemp, and so I can't even imagine. Once again, this is an item of clothing that you could try to wear out. I'd love to see somebody try to wear them out, honestly, because 100% hemp, woven correctly, would be super strong. It would just last forever, it seems like. So that's kind of fun. Good work, Taylor Stitch. 100% hemp clothing is like over the top. And, right now, 10 years from now, we're going to see all kinds of 100% hemp clothing, from t-shirts 100% hemp, that are not really thick or as thick, even though a thick t-shirt's good too. These hemp company t-shirts, which I need to check these to see if these are 100%. These are definitely on the thicker side, which is nice in the winter for sure, if nothing else. So I'm going to put these Caesar salad dressing ingredients up here for a minute. As you can see, this Caesar salad dressing is my favorite dressing, I would say. I'm a big fan of salad dressing because salad before tasted terrible, or didn't have a taste, I suppose, even. Lettuce is, and again, nutritionally, don't eat light colored lettuce. So the darker the greens, the more nutritional value that they have to begin with. And so eat darker greens to get more nutritional value out of it. I love a Caesar salad. Now, of course, this says vegan fish sauce, because I wasn't sure if this was actually vegetarian or not, but this is obviously a vegetarian or vegan recipe for Caesar salad. And I think the anchovies is the only actual animal in a normal Caesar salad. So it's kind of cool that they actually give you the vegan ingredients for this one. And they look very simple. I've seen some Caesar salad dressing recipes that were like, oh my Lord. This one seems to be pretty simple, so it might be worth trying. Basically, you just take all these ingredients that are on your screen, screenshot it, shoot it now, or come back later. We're on YouTube 24/7. But just take all these ingredients and give them a little blend, basically, until it's a nice little liquidy blended material. You can refrigerate to keep, or pour right on your salad, your greens, and go from there. So this is something one thing I don't have, which I'm now going to have to make, because Mary has a blender, but it's over at the cabin now. Is a mixer, so I'm gonna have to maybe give myself a nice little mixer, because I do want to do more dressings and stuff like that too with hemp seed. So there you have it. If you want to make yourself a little homemade Caesar salad dressing, even vegan friendly. I don't know how they make vegan fish sauce, but good for them. Good for them, one way or another. I don't,
Mm.
Well, it is what it is, I suppose. Nike Air Max 90s releasing a new color path. Now, they're called the Futura, which there is actually, I believe, hemp seed that is Futura. I know there's one close to it, and it usually has a number after it. I'm going to have to do some research on that particular cultivar, which I think is interesting. if they're actually using that particular fiber cultivar of hemp for these. The weird thing is I don't know. Again, these definitely are not vegan because I think they were talking about how it actually does have some leather on it, and so it's kind of a crossover with hemp and leather or whatnot. But I love the Air Max. They're great shoes, all in all. And whether you love or hate Nike, and I know that there's a lot of hate for Nike. They started out really bad, and I don't know that I know that they're better, but maybe not the greatest, one way or another. But they are. We have seen more Nikes with hemp. It does seem like in the last couple of years, and they've always made Nikes with hemp over the years. But I feel like we've definitely seen more Nikes using hemp released over the last couple of years, which is great. Again, they tried to do a green line. I've worn the jacket that I have. It's kind of made out of the same hemp material that the shoes that I have on are made out of. I don't think it was the right weave at the time, and so they kind of gave up on it as a material. But I do have a Nike hemp hat, a Nike jacket that was a part of their Peace Green line that I don't know if it ever actually went to market or not. The jacket is definitely a prototype, and I think the hat might have even been a prototype that I found. So, but whether it's a little bit or a lot, any hemp is what we're looking for one way or another. Excuse me. Here's a little tiny home from the Scandinavian area of the world. In this particular tiny home, and we're just seeing a lot of tiny homes on wheels. It's really a 20-foot trailer, unless you want to take it somewhere and park it. They almost made it sound like you drive this around and live in it like a RV trailer and whatnot. But they're using hemp as part of the insulation, fabric insulation on the insides. Obviously you wouldn't want to use hempcrete because that would get even hempcrete, which is lighter than concrete, would still be a heavy structure if you're going to drive this thing around. But using it for insulation is a great idea. Great idea. Good use of hemp, no doubt. The tiny house thing is still huge, pun intended. I don't know if that's a pun or not, but we've definitely seen a lot more very cool designs of tiny homes using hemp in one way or another as a part of them. So, all right. Well, our last story is kind of fun. There's a book being released called Rocky Mountain High, and it is about a trucker who actually stopped being a trucker to grow hemp in the United States when it, oh my gosh, good timing. Should probably have plugged my laptop in before I decided to use it as my way. But it's supposed to be a kind of a comedy, kind of comedy look about. I don't think he had as much luck as he wanted, and again, this was, I believe, like 2014. So it was, hemp was legalized in the country, and he jumped out of his truck to grow it, and I don't think that it went as well as he wanted it to, possibly in the long run, which I can totally understand because, all in all, there were those like 3 or 4 really, really good years from growing for CBD, but it's still somewhat experimental. The CBD boom has happened, and when that's leveled off, and now we're seeing a rise in fiber and seed growth in the United States, but it is still, it's still on the edge because it's still so new, and And as I have said it so many times before, it's still looked at like a criminal activity in a lot of states, just to grow industrial hemp. Now, I think he was out in Colorado, which was even back then much more lax um, than Ohio, so to speak, which just legalized. Again, we've only been legal for 3 years now. I think we're growing on maybe our fourth. This might be the fourth year of growing industrial hemp. We were one of the last countries in the country to actually legalize industrial hemp farming. And of course, that was really right at the boom. And, the way you have to do it in Ohio is so ridiculous with all the fees and everything else that, this year's production, I can only imagine, is going to be as low as it's ever been, even though we're still a brand new kind of farming industry in Ohio. But this is kind of a fun tale. Next week, I'm going to show one of the books. Again, I found all my books. I'm starting to get all my books together, and it's kind of amazing all the cannabis-related comic books and everything that I have, whether it's hemp or Delta 9 or whatever. And so, but I did find one of the best and well-written industrial hemp books called Hemp Horizons back in the day. So I'm going to highlight that on next week's show. But it's a very, very good book. He writes about the different uses and subject, and then he actually talks or writes about a business. And again, let's see here. I bet this book is at least. Let's see. This book is. Where is the date? Oh, and this will count as this. I'm going to use it as my hemp product because it has one page. It was actually made out of hemp. The very first page of the book was hemp paper. Now, they couldn't afford at the time to probably supply affordably an entire book made of hemp paper at the time. But I cannot find a date. Here we go. 1997. 1997. So 2 years after we opened in 1995, this book was published. So anyway, we'll check that out at next week's show. Little teaser to get you to come back. Not a whole lot of events going on. I believe it's next Tuesday, 6/6. Will be next Tuesday, is the medical marijuana meetup at Mad Tree Brewery here in Cincinnati from 8 to 10. And again, you're saying, hey, medical marijuana beach, this is the High Noon Hemp Show. What are you talking about that for? You may know that I used to go to all of them, and then COVID broke out, and I haven't been back. We were out on the farm. It's so far away. I will be at this one. There is no doubt in my mind. I think, barring unforeseen circumstances. But I go to the Cincinnati Medical Marijuana Meetup as the hemp guy, the CBD guy or whatnot. Not that there aren't other hemp people there that are in the hemp world and the CBD business world, and one way or another. But again, it's a great group of people, all very pro cannabis for all its intent and purposes, for the most part. And so it's very it's educational to me. I learn stuff when I go. I think I teach when I go. I teach wherever I go if I can. If you know me at all, just let me start on the subject of hemp, and that's the only thing that I because I'm really an introvert by nature, if you can believe that. But if there is one subject that I'm willing to bring up with people randomly, it is hemp. No doubt about it. I find a way in. I find a door a lot of times, and if not, that door is my T-shirt. Because I wear the clothing that people are like, hemptations, I love it, or hemp that's made out of hemp, whatever. I'm like, yeah, so is everything I have on. You want to know why? Anyway, more and more people know why, but there's still a lot of people out there that don't. And that's why the High Noon Hemp Show exists. Every week here on Wednesday, the 28th and 29th of June also brings us the Ohio and Kentucky Hemp Expo at the Duke Energy Convention Center. And of course, not too far away is August 18th. And I'm sure it's not just the 18th. I have to check the whole dates, but that's the Southern Hemp Expo. That is put on by the NOCO people, I'm pretty sure. And of course, NOCO out in Colorado is the largest hemp expo, hemp-related everything that you can possibly go to. And I have not made it down to the Southern Hemp Expo, even though it is much closer than than NOCO. But maybe I'll venture down that way. We'll see, because it's not too far away. Actually, I don't think it's maybe a day's drive where they're holding it. I need to. I will get more information on where the Southern Hemp Expo is this year. Make sure that's this year. Make sure it's going on. I'm sure it is. Things aren't getting canceled anymore. That's for sure. I don't know if there's as much going on, but things aren't getting canceled anymore. But I do feel like this is definitely going to be maybe the first summer that's actually going to feel normal. Like, I think last summer could have felt normal, but I don't think that it really did. But I think this summer, because we've gone through a whole year now of feeling normal, and so, we'll see. I wish people would get back to their normal going out to shop, though. But I think that's part inflation and still part of COVID fault. Anyway, there you have it, folks. As always, I usually close the show with Ask Beach Anything. I have no questions asked or my thoughts, which once again I have explicitly placed throughout the show in very particular places. And if you were paying attention, I think you got some of my beach thoughts this week again. So hopefully we'll get my laptop issues figured out and we'll get back to semi-normal. I feel semi-normal doing this. I don't know if you can still hear the popping, which would kind of be not cool. Is it my P's or my B's?
It's just it's like a weird, like whenever you say anything, it's like a little crackling. But it says slowly over the show kind of went away, and now it's barely there. Like it's just a little tiny bit.
Interesting.
It's very weird. Well, I don't know.
My iPad is an issue to work out, apparently. But thanks everybody for watching, whether it was YouTube or Twitter or Facebook. I know we still got to get the Podbean thing. I just remembered again, and I haven't done that. But
That's right.
Are we still on iHeart, or is it we got to be? We're not anywhere because we haven't done the Podbean.
I think the ones that were already on, like Google Play, iHeartRadio, those are there. It just hasn't been updating because of Podbean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to dedicate a day. Like it's going to take me a day. It's going to take me 15 seconds to update the credit card. So hopefully we'll be back on Podbean next week so you can listen to the podcast on iHeart and all those other places. We'll see how that goes. I just need to remember for 2 seconds to do it.
Right.
Thanks everybody for watching. As always, we appreciate it. And remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having temptations.
See y'all next week.